Do not remember the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. It shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. The beasts of the field will honor me, and the jackals and ostriches, because I give waters in the wilderness and rivers in the desert, to give drink to my people, my chosen. This people I have formed for myself, they shall declare my praise. Isaiah chapter 43, verses 18 through 21. This passage is often quoted in the context of God making a way in a situation that seems impossible. In fact, Don Moen even wrote a song, God Will Make a Way, that references this verse. In fact, it's directly in one of the lyrics, Rivers in the Desert Will I See. Now, I haven't had a whole lot of time to explore the context of this verse. It might only apply to the Israelites at the time, but there is an amount of that promise that God does still give to us, because Christians are also referred to as Israel, because we are part of God's chosen people when we receive Christ in us, whether we're Jew or Gentile. So the argument can be made that it definitely does apply to us. But I don't know if this verse directly applies to us or not, but what I do know is that the same God who made this promise to Israel he's still the same God today, and he doesn't change, and for all those who repent and place their trust in him, he will protect and have his hand over just the same. And this is very true, and today God has brought me out of a situation that just seemed impossible. Still kind of does, but now there's a light at the end of the tunnel that God has given me. I wanted to talk about it because it's a pretty huge milestone in my life. So one of the things that happened in late 2020 was the place I'm working at now. It's not a bad job, but it's not. I don't know if it's ideal for me, and I don't have little to any say in anything that happens because I don't have my own ride or a way to get there. But today I got my permit, and it was on the first try, and I wasn't sure if I knew enough to take the test. I said a little prayer asking God that if it be His will that I pass it today, then let it be so. And turns out it was so. And true to this verse, when God says His people will give Him praise for it, yeah, I definitely give Him praise for that. It's a huge milestone, and it's a light at the end of this tunnel. The predicament I'm in, and I can now begin to work my way out of it. And just wanted to quickly talk about this as encouragement to any of you who are struggling with a situation. I want you to know God will make a way where there seems to be no way, as the song referencing this passage goes. And for those of you who are in a similar situation where you're about to get your temps and don't quite know exactly what to expect, I'm not going to go into detail or talk about it too much for legal reasons, but I will say that it's nowhere near as complicated as part of the book, at least in the state of Ohio. It's nowhere near as complicated as part of the book may make it seem. And I'm not saying don't study out. I'm not saying don't study out of the book. Not at all. Do study out of it. What I'm saying is don't stress over it. Because if you stress over it, you're going to overthink, and when you overthink, you complicate a situation more than what it is, and sometimes you make a straightforward situation more complicated. And when you stress, it can make you forget things that you've already learned. Yes, you learned this thing that you were struggling on, but because you're stressing, you also forgot this thing that you already knew. So either way, you're still down a point. So no, by all means, do study the book, but let yourself relax about it. That's my encouragement, and for any sticky situation or predicament you're in, God will make a way where there seems to be no way. And my resolution for this year is to use more of my own judgment rather than other people's in this major decision making. Of course, I'm still going to rely on God for His judgment. I'm going to always let that play a factor in the decisions I make. But basically, what I'm saying is I'm going to try to make an effort to not let myself be pressured into things again, because it's part of pressuring that worked me into that predicament. And I'm not blaming the person who did that, not at all, because it's still my fault for letting myself be pressured. But God worked me out of it. Even though there's still a way to go, the first step is already complete, and it's a sign that God has already worked me out of it. Because God is all-knowing. He sees ahead. He sees the big picture. In the eyes of God, it's already been done. I'm just waiting to walk into it. Anyways, guys, I hope this video has encouraged you. I'll see you in the next one. God be willing. God bless you all.